Thank you. Thank you all so much, General Ward. I don't really know what to say now. You gave my whole story. But I want to thank the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation um, for just letting my wife and I be a part of this, and our kids be a part of this amazing foundation. You know, bettering the future because we need to better our children because they are the future. You know, the distinguished guest, the 17th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Barrett, gave me some wonderful advice before I come on stage tonight, even though I spoke many times, and we will just keep that between us. But to the veterans, you know, and more importantly, to the families, the spouses, and the children, because, you know, as of my wife, she's truly amazing, and, you know, what she has given up to get me where I need to be and for me to do what I want to do is truly amazing. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. As I mentioned, my wife, in my phone, she is titled Warrior Princess because she truly inspires and motivates me each and every day. We are blessed to have three wonderful kids, Nolan, who's in 10th grade, Emma, who's in 7th grade, and Layla, who's in 1st grade. And each and every day, we wake up like any ordinary family. We get the kids ready, they go to school, we go to work. From 9 to 5, we're at work, and when we get home, my wife, she prepares dinner, she bathes the kids, gets them in bed, and by 9 o'clock, she's in bed. She's truly amazing. We do everything a normal family would do. But at the end of the day, and if you look as closely as you possibly can, you tend to see something you tend to see the scars. And the scars is what tells my story. And it's a story that I'm pretty proud of, and I look forward to sharing with you all for the next few minutes. I served 7 years in the United States Marine Corps. On September 2005, I got on a bus, and I went to Parris Island, South Carolina, because I wanted to fight. I wanted to make sure that September 11th, 2001 would never happen on this country again. And approximately a year later, we landed in Kuwait on September 11th, 2006. We walked into a tough situation. I'm very thankful because I received something yesterday from another Marine who I served with, and it's Corporal Dominguez. He's an honorary here as well, and he gave me our unit coin. And that unit coin I have in my left pocket right now because as I give my speeches, I am motivated by everybody I've served with, the 23 Marines that we lost on that deployment. They're my motivation for continuing to live my life to its fullest. And each and every obstacle, each and every event that I do, they're in the back of my mind because they're the ones that gets me through what I want to do. So while we were deployed to Aditha, we relieved 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines. And as we were sitting in Al-Assad, they looked at us, a couple of me and my friends, and they felt bad the situation that we're getting ready to get involved with. And the first few months that we arrived in Haditha, it was tough. It was very demanding. It was grueling. But the Marines of Echo Company and 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, we did what we trained to do. We went on patrol. We did our job. And an enemy wanted to engage us. We let them know that we were there to fight, and we weren't going to back down from their little petty shots. So, and it's amazing because out of all the things in our deployment, we were assigned in the middle of a city where we were away from the world. It was just us, a group of brothers, a group of Marines who truly loved each other. And, we went on each and every patrol. Well, we left with 12 Marines and we come home with 12 Marines. And we dealt with hardship, we dealt with sacrifice, but we continued to honor those who sacrificed and gave their lives in defending freedom. And we kept on fighting for them. And as I do before any speech, and especially this one here, I sit back and I think about that. I think about my deployment. I rarely talk about it because I talk about my getting hurt a lot more. But, that deployment was truly amazing. But I love to listen to music, and music calms me down, and it makes me really go back to that time of being in Iraq. And one of the lyrics that I listened to a lot, it was the laughs, the smiles, the trials, the tears. It's hard to hate what got me here. And on January 18, 2007 is a date that honestly got me here. We were on a basic I-80 patrol. It was a familiar road. We walked down that road many times. I was on point as we walked past this compound wall. I look out into the open leaned up next to a palm tree was a white bag. That was, to me, that was an indicator. So I turned around and let everybody know to the left and behind me. And as I turned around, I looked down, and there was a ditch that laid perpendicular from the road that I was standing on. It went into a pipe underneath the road, and on top of that pipe is where I stood. And in a matter of seconds, the bomb exploded, sending shrapnel into both my eyes, and my life went from light to dark in a matter of seconds. And as I woke up, laying there, hearing the Marines around me, calling in for QRF, and just trying to put tourniquets on my legs, I was in shock. People ask me all the time, "This is Matt, what were you thinking when that bomb exploded?" And honestly, I don't have the words to express it, because to me it was a nightmare. And years later, the Marines that were there were telling me that, because they didn't know I was going to walk away from that. They were holding my hands, they were talking to me, because they figured that would be the last time they'd ever speak to me again, because as brothers and as close as we were, we truly loved each other. And that's the one thing about the Marine Corps, is it's a brotherhood and it's a camaraderie, and at the end of the day, we love each other. The last familiar voice I heard as they put me on a high back come from another familiar voice. It said, "Bradford, you'll be fine." And it come from my senior drill instructor, who was also a platoon sergeant in 3rd Platoon Echo Company. A voice that yelled at me so many times while at recruit training. That's a voice I'll never forget. And as I heard that voice, I closed my eyes and I went to sleep, not knowing if that was the last breath and the last voice I would hear. And 3 weeks later, I woke up to realize what I lost, and at the age of 20, what I would have to deal with for the rest of my life. Multiple amputations. My left leg was above the knee, my right leg was below the knee. My vision was gone, 100%. Even though a couple of surgeries, the doctors told me that it was very realistic that I would probably never see again. Scars all over my body, and the amount of blood I lost was pretty much a body's worth of blood. So I sat there and think to myself, why in the world, or how did I stay alive? And it was for the love of the Marine Corps. It was the Navy corpsmen. It was the nurses, the doctors along the way that helped keep me alive. And the hardest part at first was to realize, all right, what am I going to do with my life now? And what was it? It was the Marines that were there for me. A few Marines that was injured before I got hurt. They were in my hospital room, pointing me down that direction and realizing there's life outside those hospital doors. And as I've been doing public speaking for 12 years now, I've come up with other things on my own. And it's something that probably a lot of you Marines have heard, and I'd love to share it with you all. And it's been 3 things in particular that has guided me along this way. And the first one is to adapt and overcome. The hardest thing ever in adapting to my injuries was to realizing that I'm in the United States and my brothers are still in Iraq. And that hurt me more than anything in the world. Forget the amputations, forget the blindness. Why am I in America and they're over there fighting? I wouldn't even answer the phone calls when they would call. And it was the Marines that would come in and visit me each and every day that helped me realize that, and it made me start looking in the right direction. Because at that time, I wouldn't eat. I was so weak, I couldn't even lift my head up off the bed. And, as we all are, when we raise our right hand, we want to serve and defend this country. We either come home with our brothers or we come home in a casket. And that's the way I looked at deployed. I never wanted to come home as the middle, So the Marines that visit my office day in and day out, they helped me realize that there's life outside those hospital doors. So I started to look at life. I started to be like, you know what? I'm 20 years old. I have no legs. I have no vision. Anything you could do, I can do. I can do it differently, but it's going to get done at the end of the day. So very broadly, I started looking, I was like, you know what? I want to re-enlist in the Marine Corps. I want to do everything I possibly can to make sure that when my package comes across the commandant's desk, he's going to be like, you know what? Accept it. So I had to do everything I could for that. I went 6 months in the Chicago Hines VA blind school, learning everything I could from emails to independent mobility. And then the next thing I learned, I was like, you know what? Each and every obstacle that lays in my way, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to attack it with a positive attitude. And I want to live each and every day motivated and resilient, because this is who I am. Because, as I said earlier, I am motivated by the Marines I served with. And I knew that my seniors would not want me to give up because I feel like I'm giving up on them. And I didn't want to do that. So on April 7th, 2010, as my packet was approved a week early, I raised my right hand and I re-enlisted in the Marine Corps, becoming the first blind double amputee in the history of the Marine Corps. And I was assigned to Wounded... Oh, thank you. And I was assigned to Wounded Warrior Battalion East, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I wanted to be there for other severely wounded service members to realize that there's life outside those hospital doors, and no matter if you've got amputations, unless you're severely burned or you've been shot, you can still do it. You know, you could still walk and live your life to the fullest. You know, I served 2 years after I re-enlisted, and then I realized that the Marine Corps chapter in my life was closing. I joined the Marine Corps to deploy, and the one thing about the Marine Corps is once you receive that Eagle Globe Anchor, you're a Marine for life. And that's the title that I have held for the rest of my life. And that's the title I get to talk to my kids, my grandkids about. And that's the title I get to take to my grave. So closing the chapter on the Marine Corps was tough at first, but I closed that chapter and I moved right into going to school because I wanted to better myself. I wanted to better my education. And I went to the University of Kentucky, my dream school. And that dream became a reality, as in May of 2017, I walked across that stage at Rupp Arena, receiving a bachelor's in media arts and history. And along this way, I've adapted and I've overcome. I've done, even though I like this, it wasn't 8, it was 6 marathons. But, you know, I've done, it'll be my 7th one this weekend. I've done 6 half marathons. I've done 7 Spartan races. Completed my trifecta medal last year. And just 2 weeks ago, I flew out to Washington and I attempted to climb Mount Rainier. So it's just, you got to learn to adapt and overcome because, as I tell everybody, my injuries will never define who I am as a person. They're never a weakness, and they're never going to be an excuse for me. So the next thing that I've learned along this way is to lead by example. You know, from my earliest days in rehab, I've always been guided by excellent leaders. Many have come and many have left, but there's been valuable lessons along the way that I've learned. And one in particular is trying to learn how to walk. As I would go into therapy each and every day, sit on the mat and put my prosthetic legs on, I would do it quietly. You know, I'd left leg on first, right leg on, stand up, walk out of therapy. And as my physical therapist told me one day, he's like, you know what, Matt, you don't realize this, but when you come to therapy each and every day, you know, you're in the best of moods. And when you put your legs on and people watch you, they observe you, get up and walk out of here. And for some of these guys, they're probably just new to amputations. And it's like you are leading them because they realize, like, if this blind guy can get up with no legs, why can't I? So it's going to motivate me. And it's just, you know, you don't have to be an aggressive, yelling, vocal leader. But if you wake up each and every day and you're motivated to attack the day, then that's all you need to do. People will follow. And that's what I've learned in my life is, you know, I felt like on January 18, 2007, the Lord put me on a new mission in life. And it was to share my story by inspiring and motivating others. And along the way, people will listen and people will follow. People will be like, oh, this guy's doing a 5K. You know what? I'm going to go sign up for a 5K. And that's my goal in life. If I can inspire one person a day to live their life to the fullest, to go out and do things on their bucket list, then for me, that's a job well done. And that's why I'm brought on. That's why I'm still on this earth today. And that's why the Lord kept me on this earth. And another thing in particular that he told me, as I was walking in my early days and I was struggling, I was going from the left wall to the right wall, and if you're an amputee, you understand with double amputations, you do a scissor walk. So you're basically tripping over your own feet. And I was getting frustrated, and he could see that. And he would look at me, and he'd be like, Matt, all right, stop walking, first of all, because you look like you don't know what you're doing. But he looked at me, and he was like, Matt, just quit worrying about falling, and just put one foot in front of the next and walk. And at that time, I didn't realize it, and I listened to him because I trusted him, that he would never let me fall, and he would let me put one foot in front of the next, and if I felt like I was going to go down, he was going to be there to catch me. And that's how life is. We never know what tomorrow is going to hold. We don't know what next week's going to hold. But we got to live in the moment. We got to live today. We'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. And I don't know what my next step's going to be. But I'm going to take that next step, and I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to keep putting one foot in front of the next. And that's how I live my life, and that's how I've lived my life since 2007. And the last thing, and it kind of just, puts it all together, is to never quit. Life's a struggle. Life's a mountain. We all face adversities, but we always got to find the will to overcome those adversities, and that's to never quit. Nobody wants to be a quitter. Life's tough, but as I do these Spartan races, I compare a lot of the Spartan races to life. It's an obstacle course. There's going to be obstacles in your way. There's going to be mountains that you're constantly climbing, and the best way is to overcome those obstacles. It's not to turn around or to go find the easy way. If it's a 10-foot wall, you're going to go over that wall. And when you get over that wall, you're going to hit the ground, and you're going to start putting one foot in front of the next and going to the next one. Joining the Marine Corps in 2005 was the greatest decision I've ever made in my life. And as I mentioned, it's a decision that I'm so blessed with today. And it is a true honor to speak to each and every one of you all. The Marine Corps has been there from day one. Even 6 years since I've been retired out of the Marine Corps, they're still there, looking out for me, being a brother's keeper. And it is truly an honor and a blessing to be in the long history, the long, great history of Marines. And as I close here today, I want to sit here and I want to thank General Work again and the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, because what they do to provide educational opportunities for our youth, for our kids, is truly a blessing. To take that financial burden and take that stress off us as parents and let the kids enjoy their high school days and not have to worry about, oh, am I going to get accepted to this school? I need to apply to this school by this time. It's the Marine Corps Scholarship that is helping us out as parents. And not only, they live the motto, honor, courage, and commitment is truly how we should all be living our life. And as we step away from this ballroom, as we step away from this hotel, Chicago, and go back to our lives day to day, we need to continue serving others like the Marine Corps Scholarship is serving. Because the one great thing about this country is we are the United States. We are united. We love each and every one of us. And that's what we need to do. We need to serve others by loving each another. Hate few, but love all. Shake a stranger's hands. Walk up, talk to a stranger. And at the end of the day, if you see a veteran, shake their hand. We need to make sure that these stories of veterans are told each and every day. And we need to make sure that the next generation is brought onto this, brought out and brought to work and learning how to live their life because of the service and the freedoms that we have given them. And they are the future. They are the future politicians. They are the future CEOs, business owners, and presidents. On January 18, 2007, I was kept alive for one reason, and that's to stand up here and share my story and inspire others. And if I can inspire one person today, as I mentioned, it's a job well done. But right now I'm inspiring my kids to live their life to the fullest and realize that each obstacle can be taken. You just got to do hard work, and you got to overcome that obstacle, and you can't give up. So I thank you all each and every day of my life. I'm proud to be a Marine. I'm proud of being a veteran. And it's something that I'm truly blessed with serving this country. So thank you so much to General Warwick and the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, the 17th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, General Baird, who I'm so honored to have met yesterday, and I feel like there's a good friendship here. So, but I'm truly honored to be, in the company of heroes in this room, and especially my wife. She's my motivation each and every day, and from what she does, what she teaches our kids is truly inspiring, and I just sit back and I watch because she is truly amazing. And it's, as I tell people, it was love at first sight, and I'm truly honored, and I'm truly blessed to be married to my best friend. So thank you so much, and Semper Fidelis.